Chairwoman Shapiro, governors, Chancellor Brogan, university presidents, guests here today. My name is Ken Mash, and I'm the president of the Association of Pennsylvania State College and University Faculties. We represent the faculty and the coaches at our 14 great universities. There are many methods of evaluating universities, and in this system, we've certainly had our experience with performance indicators of every kind. And it seems that we constantly are flooded with comparative data from a variety of sources. However, writing in the New York Times on January 18, David Leonhardt points out an alternative means by which to judge America's universities. He writes that despite ongoing budget and enrollment issues and other issues, America's public universities remain, quote, deeply impressive institutions that continue to push many Americans into the middle class and beyond, quote. This is not merely Leonhardt's opinion. He bases it on a major study by the Equal Opportunity Project that was released last week. And the study compares upward mobility rates, and as Leonhardt points out, America's public universities fare far better than elite and private universities at projecting people into the middle and upper classes. In short, they are the engines of the American dream. Online, the article is accompanied by another site that you can go to and plug in universities to see how they fare in comparison with other universities around the country. So I took the time to plug in our universities into the charts, and what I found is that while we certainly have room for improvement, looking at who we are serving, the data says that 13 of our universities, and I'll focus on those 13 for a moment, enroll between 9 and 25% of our students from the bottom 40% with regards to income. Looking at mobility rates, that is graduates who move from the bottom 40% to the top 40%, 13 again of our universities, they rank between 599th in the country and 1,807th. Our universities, of course, do fare much better than other Pennsylvania universities. But relatively speaking to the universities, the public universities across the country, our universities rank rather low. Now, I would hypothesize that the explanation for this lies in the continuing cost of attending college in our Commonwealth. I would further suggest that this is good reason, on top of all other good reasons, that we must advocate for further funding for our universities and speak loudly for our universities. I would also suggest that we collectively must pay attention to the costs to students, not just in terms of tuition, but of total college costs. Are we shutting students out of attending our universities? We must do a better job overall of servicing Pennsylvania citizens, and especially those who need it the most. How much do we even take that kind of information into account when we make decisions, and we make decisions about tuition flexibility, when we make decisions about per credit tuition, when we make decisions about building suites for dorms, as opposed to building dorms that are traditional dorms that are more affordable for the students so that they can attend universities. We have to ask those questions because we are a fundamental part of the American dream here in Pennsylvania. And we have to give our students the opportunity for upward mobility. Now, as I said before, I was talking about 13 out of the 14 universities, and I left only one university out, and that was Cheney University. And for all the negative things that are said about our HBCU, and all of the problems that Cheney is currently confronting, Cheney enrolled nearly 54% of its students from the bottom 40%. And its mobility rate of 21.2 ranked it 87th in the nation, which is far superior to any one of the other 13 universities. It's clear that when it comes to upward mobility, Cheney is in a class by itself among our universities. And that university has always played an important part in our system. And this data shows that it does for the Commonwealth students, again, what no other one of our universities do. And here we are in a very bad situation with regard to that university. Now, in the past, I've spoken a lot about Cheyney, and I've been concerned that throughout the crisis that Cheyney has found, that while we were focusing on austerity, and while we were cutting budgets and looking for ways to save money, that Cheyney actually could not survive unless we also focused on revenue streams for the university. Bold thinking was what was required. How could we bring Cheyney, the question should be, to students who actually need Cheyney University? How do we bring it to underserved populations? Now, Cheyney's immediate challenge is severe, and our Cheyney faculty have been clamoring for a permanent leadership team at that university that would provide the necessary vision to lift the university out of the abyss. Our Cheyney faculty have been clamoring to be part of the decision-making process, but their calls for participation have gone generally unheeded. We need Cheyney University. Pennsylvania needs Cheyney University. And I've made this point before, that we all bear responsibility for that university's circumstances, and we continue to bear it. For decades, things were allowed to happen at that university that would never be accepted at any other university. And we all, including this board, bear responsibility for that. To get out of this mess will require joint effort in a very, very, very short time. The entire campus must be immediately engaged in a serious way to get everybody on board. The entire board here should be engaged about that university. And each of our universities should be helping Cheyney. My association needs to know what it can do to help out. To do otherwise is just simply unacceptable. To give up is unacceptable. To throw up our arms, to scale Cheyney back, is likewise unacceptable. Anything other than working diligently to create a sustainable path for that university is to give up. And that is to give up not just on Cheyney University, but on the dreams of upward mobility of the Pennsylvania students and family who rely on that university today and who could be relying on that university in the future.